At least 4 people were shot dead and 13 were wounded as overnight the battle for Tahrir Square in central Cairo took on an increasingly violent turn. Pro-Hosni Mubarak supporters are said to have opened fire on anti-government protesters. Egypt's army has now begun deploying tanks in among the protesters. The nighttime deaths add to those killed yesterday, underlying just how dangerous the demand for democracy has become. Many see the increase in violence as an attempted government-backed crackdown on the pro-democracy demonstrations. Mubarak promised on Tuesday to surrender power in September to try to defuse the unprecedented challenge to his 30-year rule, but his refusal to go immediately angered protesters. Hours later, the army told the reformers to go back home as Mubarak backers, throwing petrol bombs and wielding sticks, gathered on the outskirts of the central square and tried to gain entry. Now the government is calling for an end to the protests before talks over constitutional change can begin, but the activists are refusing, building up to Friday's planned march on the presidential palace.
Okay, so I know I'm not the only one who saw the green horse in the midst of the chaos and the rioting. This video has taken place in 2011. As you can see, that it is CNN. This video came from CNN. But MSNBC has also uploaded this video or played this video. And this video is from 2011. And the pale green horse is a representation of death. According to Revelations 8:6, it says, I'm sorry, I said that backwards. It's Revelation 6:8. And it says, so I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and the name of him who sat on it was Death, and Hades followed with him, and power was given to them over a fourth of the earth to kill with sword, with hunger and death, and by the beast of the earth. So, this horse is supposed to represent death, famine, death by famine. Let's see. Hunger, famine. And this happened in 2011. Now, there's people who, of course, there's skepticism everywhere. Like people who have seen it, and which is ironic because a lot of people haven't even seen the video. It hasn't received many reactions. And so, but a lot of people are saying that it's a fraud, it's doctored. And I just want you to notice something. And I'm glad that it's played 3 times, like from the original view, and then it's played again after that slow, and then it's played again after that a little slower. And I'm glad that it does that, because you can see that there's orbs. There's 3 orbs. One orb is like on the back, coming from behind the pale green horse, and 2 of them are above, like really far above. When the horse actually starts to take off and kind of lift up, you really see the orbs up high. That indicates spirituality, and it is real. I watched, I don't know how many videos, I watched so many videos of people dying, like when a person is laying in the bed and they're dying, and it's at the moment their spirit leaves their body, you start to see orbs, the little round lights, circles, and they float without any type of rhythm. They just kind of move and they hover a little bit and then they shoot off, just like they did in the video with the pale horse. And it's all on YouTube. If you put in the search engine, spirit of a person leaving the body upon death or something like that, a bunch of videos show up. And they're just different videos where a person is being recorded and you can see the spirit leave the body, like it's just lights. And the same thing is with the horse. There's 3 orbs. And that's an indicator of spirituality. There is a question that people ask. Okay, well, all those people out there, nobody's seen that pale green horse. Do you really expect people to see that? Like, do you really expect people to see that? In the middle of insurrection, chaos, do you really think people are going to see that? Not everybody sees everything, even as something as prominent as that. Because there are things that different people see every day. Like, for instance, when I was 2 years old, I saw the devil. He appeared to me in full form. He showed up at our front door. I saw him. My mom and dad didn't see him. And I kept saying there was a man at the door. And they didn't see him. When I was about 27 years old, my mom reminded me about that situation because after that day, I completely forgot about it, never thought about it ever again until I was about 27 years old. So like 25 years later, my mom out the blue says, you remember you kept saying there was a man at the door and we didn't see the man at the door? And the memory came back to me like it was yesterday, like it just happened yesterday. And it was the devil. The description of him was dark and dreary, and he looks just like the Undertaker. Like if you've ever seen WWE wrestling, and the Undertaker, how he was dark looking, and he had that big brim black hat and the big cloak, the overcoat, black, heavy, long. That's how he looked. In the movies, how death looked, that's how Satan looked when he came to my front door. And I saw him and nobody else saw him. So just because something prominent is there doesn't mean it's meant for everyone to see. That is the 4th and final horse. I was watching a TikTok video not too long ago. I wish I could put the video up, but it was a young man answering questions, and someone asked, how long do you think we have left on this earth? And the man says something so intriguing. He says, we don't even have a decade left. He says there's a prophet that is being that was foretold, that's being put to realization about Israel, and them building the 3rd temple, and then they're about to announce the quote-unquote Messiah, who is really the Antichrist. And he says that person is supposed to reign for 7 years. That's actually going on right now. He also indicated that about the global warming, and I said the same thing. This is the global warming is the scientific name for what the Bible has prophesized about, and the Bible indicates about how, like, you know, things is going to dry up, it's going to be desolate and arid, and there's going to be shortages, and the crops is going to die. Like, it's just going to be complete death on earth. Well, because the globe or the temperature is warming on the planet, it's drying out everything. I mean, like, you see the ice caps are breaking apart and floating away, and all this other stuff. They keep talking about the polar bears is perishing, and excuse me, but that is actually that's God. It's his timing. He's giving us signs. This is not scientific stuff. This is from the Bible. And so global warming is a sign of the time. It's not global warming, though. It's warming up. And he also indicated how they said the world is spinning it's sped up. It's spinning faster, which is indicative to time running out. The Lord is returning. I was in 2006 or 7. I can't remember which year it was, but I went out to eat at Denny's one day. My husband and I had this Denny's restaurant we used to go eat at, but on this particular day I had went by myself. I left him. He was, I don't even think he was home. And I sat down. I was seated next to an elderly black man. He had to be either in his 70s or his 80s. He was an elderly black man. He had a hospital band on, and he had indicated to me that he had just got out the hospital because he had a heart attack. He wasn't eating anything. He didn't have anything. He was just sitting at the table. And his back was to me. He was at, like, the next booth until I sat down. And when I sat down, it was like a robot or perfect timing. He just turned around and started talking to me. It's not like he turned around to see who I was and then realized, well, I'm another African-American person like him, so it's okay for him to talk to me. He didn't pay any attention to me when I sat down. But once I sat down, he just turned around after the waitress walked away, turned around and began a conversation with me, like a matter-of-fact type conversation. And when I listened, he talked. And what he told me, it was a short conversation, very few words. But he said, I had a conversation with Jesus. He said, Jesus came to me and told me I'm right around the corner. And then he left. The man left. And I took that for what it is. I never forgot that. And I didn't think, oh my goodness, this man is crazy, or anything like that. I didn't think anything like that. And at this time, I was not baptized. I didn't get baptized until 2008. So I didn't say, oh, okay, well, this man is crazy. And when he said that to me, I didn't ask any questions. I just let that resonate. I ate my food. I let that resonate. I never repeated that to anybody. Like, I didn't even tell my husband. I just let it just resonate. And I would think about that from time to time as I started my spiritual walk. And I see what that man meant, because that was approximately 15 years ago. And here it is. Scientists believe at the rate of the global warming, we won't be here in the next 20 years. And I always knew that, or always felt that the second return of Christ is going to happen during my lifetime. I'm going to be alive to see it. I believe that. So we don't know the hour or the day of the return of the Messiah. But he does give us signs to let us know he's close and to be prepared. He's close, and we need to be prepared.